Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Going to be showing you guys a Protoss strategy today, and what we're going to be looking at in particular is a proxy gateway. And yes, it is cheesy. You can cry all you want to. It's your birthday, you can cry all you want to. But anyways, no, it might be a little cheesy, but it's an effective tactic, and that's why I'm going to show it to you. We're going to be taking a look at particularly how to proxy gate. Okay, obviously it's not that complex. You drop a pylon, you drop a gateway, but I want to look at the subtle nuances such as when to cut probes, chrono boost, and all that stuff. But then we're also going to be looking at how to recover when it fails. Now, a proxy gateway against a Terran opponent, that's what we're looking at particular today. This is a Protoss versus Terran strategy. It's going to be very good, if not taking them out early. You're not guaranteed to win, but it's a possibility with a one gate proxy. But if not a guaranteed win, what you're going to get is a hell of a lot of harassment. So what we're looking at, you can see right now the pylon's getting dropped down at 9. You're cutting the probes. You stop probe production after that 9 supply, and then you're dropping your gateway. Now, once that gateway is dropped at 9 supply as well, then you can go ahead and pick up that probe production. You're going to see Nani go ahead and pick up probe production right there, and that's when you're going to be using your first chrono boost. It's going to be used on your first 2 probes. Then you're going to be saving up your chrono boost because you're going to want to be making sure that you have enough to chrono boost out some zealots. So, okay, what are we doing? We're proxy gating. Is that it? No, you're not just going to proxy gate and forget about it and hope you win, cross your fingers. You want to prepare for that transition in case it doesn't, if it doesn't succeed, or if you just don't do enough damage as much as you'd like to anyway. So we're going to be getting this gateway out, realizing we're also going to be getting an assimilator, that we're not just going to, again, we're not just sticking with one thing and then that's that. Also make sure you get your pylon at 13, that's very important. You can see he saved up the chrono boost though. So Nani, as soon as this gateway is up, going to be chrono boosting out that first zealot, and then after that point, we're going to expect to see that assimilator sometime soon. Now, the important thing that we're going to do, again, we're going to be trying to make sure that we get inside that resource line and we do as much harassment as possible. Now, you can see right now we just got scouted by that SCV scout, so at this point, the Terran opponent does know what's going on, starts dropping that bunker immediately, and that's what you can expect. The whole point is to get your zealot in, to stop mining as much as possible. You can see Nani running away from that marine because he doesn't really want to engage that marine. That's not his main focus. They can take so much marine fire early game though that you're absolutely fine. Now before we pick back up here, I just want to pause really quick. You can see right now dropping that assimilator that did go down at 20 supply because again we're preparing for that transition. And then actually next thing that we're going to be dropping is a cybernetics core, and that's going to come up very, very shortly. But you can see over here you're just going to try to poke in. You want to get into the resource line and stop mining as much as humanly possible, but don't forget about your transition. You can see that cybernetics core just getting dropped down there, 22 supply. You're just going to be running around with these zealots. You can keep them streaming in, keep chrono boosting them as well. Also be sure you do want to save a couple chrono boosts for your actual economy, so make sure you're chrono boosting probes. But what we're looking to do here, again, you're seeking moving guys into the mineral line, pulling them away, and then using the other zealot basically to try to taunt and keep those marines away. So a good tactic is send one zealot towards the marines and send another zealot into the economy. You can see that we just saw Nani do that particular thing there. But stopping mining and taking out as many SCVs as possible, that is the goal. Now, as you can see right now, the opponent here, Satini, he did a good job of defending against it. Ideally, if you could get this, if he could get this stalker out right now, he would be in a great position. He could kill so many of these marines. But you can see here, Satini is going to actually be target firing down that pylon, and as a result, unfortunately, the stalker doesn't make it through. So Nani's just going to go ahead and cancel that, get the resources back, and here we go back in his base, preparing for his transition. All the while this was going on, after realizing that that zealot push wasn't going to work as much as he'd liked it to, dropping down these 3 additional gateways. Now the next thing, okay, you attack. What are you going to expect? You're going to expect a counter push. Almost immediately you're going to expect a counter push. So let's take a look over here, grabbing the Xel'Naga Tower, and what does Nani see? He sees this counter push. So as soon as you get a gateway up in your main, chrono boosting out a stalker. Step number 1, when they're marine heavy, stalkers are going to do absolutely phenomenal. Be prepared for that possible transition into Marauders. You can almost expect that, so make sure you do get some Zealots in the mix there as well. But making sure in the counter push, the biggest thing here is stopping that SCV right here from building that bunker and trying to obviously get rid of these Marines as quickly as possible. So you're going to see him target fire down those low Marines, pull back when those shields get low, allow yourself and buy yourself some time. If you look to be in a hot spot, what we're going to see Nani do here is pull down with some of these probes and try to take care of those as quickly as possible. But look, this is the important thing right now. Watch this stalker. Going to go straight for that SCV. That is absolutely vital that you stop the building of this bunker. If you can stop this, you're pretty much fine. You shouldn't be in that bad of a position. And yeah, and then what you're going to want to do from that point is actually, once you get your warp gate research up and running, you're going to probably be in a very solid spot. What's going to happen here is Nani's going to get his warp gate research up, and then he's just going to go ahead and move out with a counter push, and that's pretty much going to be it, because you can see he's actually sitting on a 4 gate. This gateway didn't get dropped, and your response might be, well, hey, is Satini friggin' terrible? Like, why didn't he kill that warp gate? Well, the reason he didn't kill this gateway right away is because he knew he powered down the pylon, so he knew the gateway was inactive. But unfortunately for him, our Protoss buddy here, Nani, did move and drop another pylon down, and then he had access to this. And the other big thing too is he didn't have time, because he was using his forces to go for a counterattack. And as you saw, he pushed out. He had that warp gate research, and then stopping that counterattack was able to just do too much. He had too much for him to actually deal with. If we take a quick look at that army tab, we can actually see. Whoa, there we go. I forgot that. Nani is ahead 12 to the 7 of Satini, but the big thing is that with that warp gate up, even though he's only slightly ahead, he would be able to just get another warp in very soon, and there would pretty much be nothing Satini could do about it. So let's just talk about this game really quick. What happened? Well, we saw that proxy gateway. I kind of wanted to show you an effective way of doing it. I also want to talk to you about that idea of having one zealot chase those Marines into the bunker and having the other zealot work on the mineral line. And even if he pulls the SCVs off the mineral line, that is fine. In fact, that is almost exactly what you want. You may not be able to kill a ton of SCVs that way, but if you have one zealot chasing Marines around and then the other zealot going to the resource line, you're stopping mining, and that's the biggest thing. You can expect a counter push, so you need to be prepared for that transition. I'm going to go ahead and post up that build order. Realize I've said this a million times, build orders are obviously subject to change, and they're going to be altered depending on what goes on in the game. But the main thing is that we're proxy gating, but we're not relying just on the proxy gate. The point of the proxy gate is try to do as much damage as possible. And I want to say something. I'm going to be as bold as to say this: even if Satini had stayed back and killed off this gateway instead of pushing out with a counterattack, Nani still would have won the game, because he would have had these 3 gateways up at the very least, and he would have been pumping out 3 gate for a push after doing all of the economic harass. I would say that that would be more than enough to have overwhelmed him at that point. But yeah, I mean, you have to. I think it's important to think of it this way: these early aggressive moves, these early aggressive pushes, they aren't really, although they are, I guess they could be coined the term cheesy. I hate to use it. The whole point is to try to disrupt the flow of the game. And the fact of the matter is that Nani was able to stop mining for so long that put him into a good spot, and that is why this particular build can be something that's pretty effective and that you can use every now and then. So taking a look at the opening, again, it was that 9 pylon, cutting probes right after that point, then going ahead and dropping that gateway at 9. After that, chrono boosting in a couple of probes, and then saving your chrono boost for pumping out some zealots. Remember, chase those Marines with 1 or 2 zealots and use another 1 or 2 zealots to hit that mineral line. That's going to be very, very solid for you. In a defense of any likely counterattack, make sure your #1 priority is to stop any bunkers from being placed. If you can do that, then you're going to be okay. If the situation looks hairy, pull down some workers to help in your fight, and you should be all set. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this strategy video. Again, this was a 1 gate proxy into some additional gateways, and yeah, there you have it. So as always, guys, if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning.